Hey family, welcome back. It is your favorite life and relationship strategist, MarshaunO, and I'm here to talk to you guys, or really to ask you several questions, things to think about, reflection. How many of you have reflected on your life, specifically on your love life, on the failed relationships that you have had? Maybe you have just gone through a breakup. Maybe you have just gone through a divorce. Have you actually taken the time to sit down and think? Let whatever comes up come up. When was the last time you sat there, thought about what you did wrong, thought about how you could handle something differently, thought about how you could react differently, thought about how you showed up in your relationship? Were you happy and cheerful most of the time? Were you evil and angry most of the time? Were you complimenting your spouse, complimenting your partner? Were you actively there? Or were you looking down here, looking at some type of electronic, being in your virtual world more? Were you taking time out for family, for your children, or were you constantly out with the guys, with the girls, at the bar? How much time, how much energy, how much focus did you have on your last relationship or the relationship that you're currently in? See, most of us want our relationships to flourish. We want our relationships to just be built up, get the guy, get the girl, and then everything is supposed to just be hunky-dory. Yeah, I said hunky-dory. Everything is supposed to just fall into place. He's supposed to know that, that you think that he is your hero. She's supposed to know that you just love her and you never utter the words. You never show her. You never take her out. You never compliment him and tell him what a great job he's doing with you, with the kids, with the finances. How much have you reflected on who you are and how you are showing up, or who you were and how you did show up in your last relationship? We need to sit down and reflect on our relationships and how we want them to go, how we want them to flow, how we want to show up in our relationships, who we want to be while in that relationship, because it's so very important when you are moving from one relationship to the next, or if you want to improve anything that's happening in your current relationship that you don't like your spouse doing, you don't like your fiance not doing, you want more acknowledgement, you want to be held more, you want more cuddles, you want more face-to-face conversation, you want more dates, I want more sex, right? Whatever it is, are you saying it? Are you verbalizing it? Are you just angry? This reflecting time, this reflection on who you are and how you are, is only going to improve you as a person. It's only going to improve your romantic relationship. It's only going to improve your relationship with your child or children. It's going to improve all of your relationships, because you are going to become a better person who understands not only yourself, but also how things could have been better if you would have done X, Y, and Z better, if you would have shown up better, if you would have spoke up more. All of this, of course, is in a loving manner. So 5 things that I want you to think about, and 5 reasons why reflection is a must in between relationships and even during your relationships. So the very first one is that it provides an opportunity to establish your individual expectations. See, maybe you're the type of person who's gotten into a relationship and you keep everything up here. and then you just expect your spouse, your lover, your fiance, your husband, your wife to just know what you want in that moment. Don't get me wrong. Some people have this on lock, but the majority of people do not. So you're sitting there, you're pissed off, you're angry, but your spouse, your lover has no idea why. Because you never sat them down and say, hey, babe, this is what I expect out of this relationship in order for me to be happy, in order for us to be happy together in this thing that we're calling a relationship. Have you ever sat down and told them what your love languages are? Have you ever expressed, you know what, my love language, my top 3, I've explained this before, but I'll say it shortly here. When you are showing your lover, your spouse, their top 3 love languages, your relationship has the tendency to last forever. When they are showing you your top 3 love languages, expressing them to you, again, it's a two-way street. One person cannot just be showing the other person all of this love, affection, and all of the things that they need regarding their love language, and then you're not reciprocating. It doesn't work. It has to be both. And you'll feel so much more fulfilled in that relationship, both of you, when you are both expressing what the love languages are. Have you sat down and said, hey, these are my expectations in this relationship. This is what I need. The love languages are an example. The cuddling is an example. Date nights are an example. No, not yelling and screaming is an example. Speaking to me with respect is an example. Don't just keep your expectations up here, but reflect on what your expectations are. In your reflection, that's exactly what you're doing. You're providing an opportunity to establish what your individual expectations are, not what both of you think about it, because you need to know who you are. You need to know what you want in the relationship as an individual. And then you guys come together and talk about it as a couple. Number 2, when you are reflecting on your life, on your love life, on your business, on your career, on your kids, who you are in all of these aspects of your life, you relieve the tension that's built up, and you also provide renewed strength, renewed awareness. You're happier. You're relieving. Instead of you being super tense and keeping your shoulders up, you're able to relax them. Did you actually see that? They're up here because you're tensed. But when you go through this reflection process, it's just something about them. They're not relaxed. And that's your entire body. That's the way your entire body works. When you reflect that you weren't as perfect or are not being as perfect as you come off as, then you relieve all that tension. You start to take responsibility for your actions, for how you're showing up or not showing up. The third thing, it creates a sense of accomplishment, because now you can see what areas you need to work on. When you sit down and think about, you know what, I be yelling and screaming all the time. That's an area I can work on. I be cursing all the time. That's an area I can work on. I actually call him out of his name all the time. That's an area I can work on. You start to see all of these areas where you can work on. The accomplishment comes in now that I'm back in this relationship, now that I'm in this new relationship. That's the thing that I'm no longer going to do that anymore. That's where the accomplishment comes from. Because you acknowledge what they are, but now you know what you need to work on. And then you start to work on those things so your relationship can get better, so your communication can get better, so you can be happier while you're in that relationship. So you can pass along these things to your children who are watching you. Number 4, reflecting gives meaning to your experiences. Good, bad, happy, sad. Gives them meaning, gives them life. Gives meaning. Number 5, reflecting on your life, reflecting on you, who you are, how you're showing up, can actually give you closure, especially if your relationship has ended. But it can also give you closure in the aspect if you were arguing, if you were fussing and fighting about something, but you could not see how you could have did something different. You could not see how that thing was turned on you. You'll be able to see, you know what? We don't have to even argue and fuss and fight about that no more. It's not that serious. Or that relationship needed to end. It wasn't healthy. It wasn't right. I cannot see myself being in a long-term relationship with that toxic person. They're not a bad person. Their behavior was not something that I feel that I need to be a part of day in and day out. A bonus, reflecting on you, reflecting on your life. It actually grows you up. Your maturity level heightens because you're not putting the blame on anybody. You're actually looking in the mirror and taking a look at yourself and the things that you could do better in your life and in the way that you're showing up in your current relationship, or even if you've broken up, as I mentioned before. Tell me what you think down in the comment section below. You guys know that I love to continue the conversation. If this is your very first time here to MarshaunO, then I definitely want you to hit the red subscribe button so you and I can continue the conversation in future videos when you come back, and also so you can be aware of all of the new material that I release in the future. I love you guys, and there is nothing that you can do about it. Deuces, y'all.